Alright guys, so quickly we are going to take a look at what maps are. Okay, so just to give you just to build on the foundation of what we already know. Now if you recall, when we were trying to implement sets, like literally here, we had to declare an object that was empty. So that would indicate or give us the idea that this set that we're actually creating here is an object data type, or implements the object data type under the hood. Which makes sense, yes. The same thing can be said to be true for maps. Yes, maps also implements the object data type under the hood. So if I declare a new map and say this is equal to a new map, and I say console.log type of map, yeah, so you can see that the type of map is an object. The type of set is also an object. So just to be clear, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control Z, please, Control C. Just to be clear, if I call this sets, if I call this sets, excuse me, if I call this set as well, that's what I'm typing today, and I say type of sets, right? So you see that type of set is also an object. Does that make sense? Okay, let's close this. Now let's define map and set so we can see the difference. So what is a map? So a map is basically a collection of keyed data items, right? Keyed data items. It's important to take note of the word key here. So the key of an object, if I declare an object, for example, and I say name is map, this name here is a key. Yes, this name here is a key and the map is the value. So I can say name is the key and map is the value. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's call this definition. Definition. All right. So how is map different from sets? Yeah, I can say a map is different from an object because it allows us to use any type of key. So what do I mean by that? So I can come here and say the age is 30, and then this other key now should be, instead of it to be a string, it should practically be an object, right? I'll find under objects here, and I call that sorry, there's no power here, I'm not seeing this very well. I use the object as a key and then the value as a hello. Normally this should not be practical. In fact, if I open it and assign it to a variable, it's going to throw an error because it's practically telling me that I can't do that. So const data is equal to that. So you practically tell me that no, you can't do this. There's a red line everywhere. You can't do this unless probably I wrap this up as a string. Then it will work. Then it's telling me that all these values are not. So I can't really do this. I can't assign any other thing apart from a string as a value to a normal object literal. This doesn't work for normal object literals. Okay, but apparently it's going to work for a map, right? That's why map is different. Why do we need this first? In fact, why do we need to have keys that are not just not why do we need to have keys that are not just strings but also stuff like objects or functions? Okay, it actually helps the work to be easier. So you must have seen something called this way. Okay, they must have called something this way for you. You must have called something like a function that we called on a string when we were doing string data type, and we said that we have a string that is long string. Yes, and we said long string dot, and we call the method on it dot length, and dot length give us the size of that string. Okay, but we also had a method called dot join, and then we have to call join like a function here. Yeah, so you can see that this thing we are calling dot is similar to creating an object. Yeah, similar to creating an object. Let me turn this off. And then calling data.name on that object. So we can say data.name. So that's similar. Can you see the relationship between that? So the only thing now is that this name here for this data is a string, and then this join is a function. This is only possible if this long string is a map data, is implementing the map data type under the hood. Now remember that JavaScript is built on top of the C++ library. Yes? And then strings are actually in that C++ or C language. C are actually object data types that you can actually call methods on or call other properties on. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Again, I've not even explained why we needed that. Okay, let me explain why do we need this. Why do we need map? Okay, so for the normal objects like we have here, if I declare a third function, if I declare a third key and I call that key hello, sorry, for example, and I call that key hello, I particularly have to put the comma there. Okay, and I say give me the keys, give me all the keys, give me all the keys here. Objects dot keys data. So 1 here was supposed to be a number, but now it has converted into a string. So that means that anytime I want to get this string, no matter what is here, whether it's a number or a string, I always get a string, which is a very, very bad manipulation of the data I want. Understand? I didn't send you to manipulate this thing like this. I didn't send you, right? But hey, that's how it is. That's how it's implemented. But now this is a problem, and we have to fix it by using the map. Okay, so now let's declare the map. I hope this is clear. Let's declare the map. So I can see here now, getting the keys from an object always returns a string. All right, that's a problem. So now let's declare a map. So if I say okay, declare a map, there are two ways to declare a map. So how to declare a map? There are two ways to declare a map. The first way is by using the map constructor. So if I want to say the map constructor, okay, the map constructor and then the map literal syntax. So let's look at the constructor using a constructor example. So we can say const map 1 is equal to new map. Right? Notice how we use the keyword new and then the map in cap, where the first letter is in caps. Okay. Then we now do map1.set map1. This is the constructor, not the literal. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a constructor. We have to place in our data inside here. So the way you declare that is you put an array. In fact, to be a nested array. So there's a first array, and then there's another array that contains the key and value pairs of what you want. Okay, so this will be key, a string, hello. Now this key is kind of confusing. Let me use something that might not be as confusing. Let's use something that we are used to. So the key of name, probably you want, and then the value of John that you want. Take another one. John's age is 30. And then take another one. Now let's use the boolean value. Let's use boolean. So let's say this is true and hello. Yeah, so that's a boolean value. Let's use another one that's a method, or that's a number hello, right? And then let's use another one as a function goodbye, basically. So function, now this is an anonymous function basically, right? Now we have used what's this saying here? What's it saying here to me? New map. Iterator value is not an entry object. Alright, so it was saying iterator value undefined. It was just a silly mistake. Yeah, and there's supposed to be a comma here. Okay, so if I decide to console.log the map1, so I get an object data type of name, John, age 30, The other one was true. If I scroll this way, so that one was true. Can you see that how it works? Very, very easy to use, basically. Very, very easy to use. All right. So that's how to use a map in a constructor method. Then obviously, if you want to get that as objects, you can just say, let's say, array.from. Right. So we get back everything that we had, like basically. But that's not what we need, basically. We want it. We are not going to. When you are implementing map, you don't need to convert it. You have to use it the way. You have to use it. You have to make use of it the way it was by calling other methods on it. So we're going to look at the other methods in the next video. So this is how to use the constructor example. All right. The next one will be to use the literal, using the literal syntax. And I wonder why Copilot is mixing up this constructor and literal for me. So in my opinion, I think this is constructor because you are actually, right? You're actually declaring the functions in it. Probably this is literal. Anyways, however, I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Right? Let's not mix it. So I want to do the literal syntax, and this is what I think literal is basically. I might be wrong. So literally, I will just call the set method to create a new object from this. I'll call the set method on the map that I created. I'm going to do practically the same thing. Practically the same thing. Map2.set. This time I want to set a function on it. Function that. And then you call that function, the comma, and you say goodbye, something. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Let me give this function a name. Let me give this function a name. Let me call it toString. Alright, so you have an idea of what's going on here. So if I call map2.toString, right? Even if it's anonymous, you see it's not giving me error line because it's already there. Yes? Then I can now decide to implement a function of toString on it. Like something that's going to do toString on that stuff. So that's how they actually build all these things under the hood. Right? And you're getting a feel of how it works. Okay. Yes. So we're going to pause here for now. And then next video we're going to quickly go through the remaining data types, not data types, the remaining methods that can be called map, like values for each, map2.for each, and all of that. Okay, thank you for listening. See you in the next video.